Samantha is just a gay man, really. Nope. Hello everyone, today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do something a little more freeform, and I'm going to read some of the Sex and the City's most unpopular opinions from the Sex and the City subreddit. So let's go! Carrie, as annoying as she is a brilliant anti-hero and protagonist. It just wouldn't work without her. There are enough perfect, bland, and realistic heroines, and flawed as she is, makes the show relatable. Yes, I agree with this. And I know a lot of people would hate Carrie for the affair she had with Big, mainly, and a bunch of other things she has done to demonstrate she's not that good of a friend sometimes, and definitely not a good partner. And I get it. But she had a valuable insight into the themes of each episode, and let's face it, her messiness was fun to watch. If she wasn't as chaotic as she was in the show, I heavily doubt it would have lasted so much. Because who watches a show where everybody's perfect? Nobody. And even if they do, the preachiness takes away from the relatability that being human brings into the table. And let's be honest, who doesn't know a Carrie in real life? Someone who passionately follows her impulses and gets done dirty by them. Or tell me if you don't know someone with a long-ass situationship they don't tell anyone about, because if you do, then that's your Carrie. And if that's you, guess what? I don't even have to tell you. Not sure how unpopular this is, but it's my opinion. Miranda should have had the abortion. She didn't want to be a mother and had no real maternal instinct. And I don't think it was fair the writers saddled her with it, just so she and Steve would be stuck together. I think this one is more ethically and politically controversial than it's unpopular. But I agree too. Miranda had a 70-hour-a-week job that demanded all her time. She had no business having a baby while she was trying to advance her career. I mean, she even said it in one episode when Steve proposed her to have a baby. She had her priorities clear and a baby wasn't on her plan. But even if she had the baby, I wish they just made her co-parent with Steve instead of her realizing all of a sudden that she loves him. What bothers me the most is that she was the one who took the initiative to declare her love for him and then propose to him. What kind of balance is that? Maybe Steve was respecting her decision not to be with him, but it's pretty unanimous that he was a better friend than he was a partner, and it should have stayed that way. Carrie was in the right for the Samantha blowing the worldwide express guy. She gets so much hate in this sub for that scene, but she literally tells Samantha she was caught off guard by it, and Samantha herself even admits by the end of the episode that it was too much. I disagree on this one, partially, because yes, it was shocking for both of them to find one of their friends living their sexual life instead of just talking about it, but Carrie's comments were passive-aggressive and judging. She even admitted it by the end of the episode. And to be honest, Samantha's reaction, even if motivated by heartbreak of her relationship with Richard, was valid because she has had to be defensive to everyone judging her sex life as a woman, but she never expected to be judged by the people she loves the most. Besides, it may not be morally correct, but it's not uncommon for people to have sex in semi-public places. They just don't talk about it that much. I used to work in an office where everyone did everyone around the place, and the worst part is that you never knew exactly where, so yeah. As modern and out there as it was back in the day, it's really outdated now. 4 smart, successful women who all center men as their focal point in their lives. Miranda had a moment where she realized this was insane, but she did the same mostly. I won't even mention the racist, homophobic, and transphobic aspects. I sort of disagree on this one. Because yes, this show, as progressive as it was, showed women who were male-centered and spent a lot of their time talking about them. However, this is the ethos of the show. It was a show about successful women and their approach to relationships in general. And even if they spend a lot of time dating and talking about men, their most important relationship is among each other. They date guys, yes, but in a way they are technically and spiritually married to each other because their friendship is the only constant in the show, even when they argue among each other. They at some point recognize that even when most of them long for a relationship with a man, the most important relationship they have is with their friend group. Also, that episode where Miranda makes the other girls less for talking about men, she's later faced with a heartbreak she didn't process and calls Carrie to tell her about it, which makes her realize, and the audience by extension, that a lot of this talking is not much obsession but a point of contention and support between women. And as for the last part, I cannot defend it, but I can tell that back then showing trans people and gay people among the scene was groundbreaking. Today, though, it feels poorly represented, and I agree with that. In this sense, I rather think that this is a forward step in the right direction from what was allowed at the time, especially with a show as popular as Sex and the City was back then. It wasn't fully in, but it wasn't fully out either, and to be honest, this part was definitely a sign of its time. I don't like Samantha. She had funny lines, but mostly she was super cringy and overly obsessed with sex. Like, we get it, she's sex positive, but she was acting like a prostitute a lot. And she was a bad friend to Miranda when Miranda's mom died. And all Samantha cared about was her inability to orgasm for that one day. I know it was supposed to be a metaphor, but still she behaved terribly. I'm surprised so many people here love Samantha so much. Oof, this one is loaded. And I disagree with it, but not entirely. Yes, definitely it was insensitive for Samantha to behave that way at the funeral and towards Miranda. But this is actually quite consistent with Samantha's character. She's not only a sex-obsessed horn dog that can think about nothing but getting some. But for her, sex is part enjoyment and part avoidance. Samantha loves sex and loves having it, but she also uses it as a way to escape from her own or someone else's pain. Seeing Miranda destroyed and not being able to do anything to cheer her up or alleviate her pain made her feel powerless when she's usually bold and capable of overcoming anything. Samantha is avoidant and feels too much, and this is exactly why she loves sex but hates commitment. Because it gives her enough intimacy, but not too much to get attached and get hurt by the segment of the population she's been disappointed by the most. However, I do get how the obsession with sex can be kind of annoying, especially when you have been around someone who only talks in innuendos and about their sexcapades, but nothing else. It can become boring really quickly, even when you're sex positive, and although I respect it, you can easily point out the people who do it out of genuine interest in sex, and the ones who do it out of compulsion or just to be attention-seeking and shock people around them. And those give sex a bad name in general, so yeah. Berger posted note, "What's the best way to break up with Carrie?" No, it wasn't. Next. Samantha is just a gay man, really. I feel like the showrunners, both gay men, have written these four women as the following. Samantha, the stereotypical gay man, Miranda, the lesbian written by a gay man, Charlotte, a conservative written by a gay man, and Carrie, how gay men see straight women. I feel like this show is really just gay men playing with Barbies. Nope. This actually makes me really angry. Because it basically says that women can only be fully conceptualized through a male perspective. A gay man, but still. Discrediting all the women in the writing room who were actually drawing from their own personal experiences to give life to their women in Sex and the City. And this is basically saying that these characters were all created for the enjoyment and pleasure of men. If anything, this makes it more ironic knowing that gay men should have a different conception of women. But besides all these concepts, the one around Samantha being a gay man is the one that actually gives me a little bit of conflict. Because a lot of women in other subreddit were asked if they actually knew a Samantha in their real life. To what a lot of them said they didn't. And I couldn't help but wonder, if Samantha is so well loved and admired among the fans, why aren't more Samanthas out there? And well, the answer is rather simple. And a bit disappointing too. There aren't more Samanthas out there because this society is not safe for them. And a lot of the time it has failed to protect them. Female sexuality is still such a taboo topic in modern times that a lot of people, even women, are afraid of it. which is why women who are sex positive, liberated, and active are in the best case scenario seen as the downfall of society, and in the worst case scenario, their opposers wants to put them in danger. The fact is that when people say Samantha is a gay man, it is because gay men are more active in their pursuit of desire. But making an open exploration of sex only a male trait is dangerous for women who want to do this because it disconnects them to something that is natural for all of us. If anything, there must be out there a lot of Samanthas who are pretending to be someone else so they don't get judged or put themselves in danger. So yeah, I completely disagree with this. Samantha may represent gay men to a certain extent, yes, but she's a woman. One that is not allowed to exist today because of the expectations placed on women to only perform for men. And well, that will be all for today. If you have any unpopular opinion about Sex and the City or an opinion about any of these unpopular opinions, don't forget to leave them in the comments right below. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye-bye!